We are going to discuss some of the best tips to improve your relationship with your spouse, and we're going to get started right now. What is up, my friend? Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to reach your potential, crush your goals, and be more effective in all the different roles that you play in life, start right now by hitting the round subscribe icon and tap the bell notifications. That way you don't miss anything. If you have any tips on how to improve your relationship with your spouse, make sure you drop them down in the comments below. Now today I am super excited because one of my favorite YouTubers, Dan, will be joining us here today to talk about how you can improve your relationships with your spouse. Now Dan is a life coach and a prison coach for people that are going into prison, federal prison, or that are just coming home from federal prison. And his mission in life is to significantly reduce the recidivism rate for federal prisons and prisons in general. What a noble cause. Now Dan himself went through federal prison, has turned his life around, and now he is giving back and helping his community. Very similar to myself. You know that I went through prison myself for 5 years flat, and I finally turned it around, and now I am on a mission to empower other people that are feeling stuck, trapped in a certain relationship that they're in, a certain career field that they're in, or just where they're at in life, and I'm helping people get to the next level. That's exactly what Dan is doing, and it's such a noble cause. Dan, go over there, check him out. If you like what he's throwing down, be sure to subscribe, tap the bell notifications, that way you don't miss anything. And without any further ado, I'm going to turn this on over to Dan so he can show us how you can improve your relationships with your spouse. Dan, take it away, brother.
What's going on, YouTube? Dan here. Hope you guys are having an amazing week so far. I'm super excited to finally be able to do a video with one of my favorite YouTubers, Win with Zach. I've been watching Zach now for several months, and I'm just blown away with his content, his level of energy. What he puts into his videos is what a lot of people are really seeking. When you've got somebody that's giving such a strong message for so many people out there that are trying to find peace in life, trying to better themselves, whether it be at work, whether it be at home, at school, and maybe you're hitting this dead end or this rut, you've got videos that this amazing YouTuber is putting out to give you guys that type of content to help you get through your day-to-day. So with that said, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, and then I'm going to kind of jump into what we're going to talk about today. But like I said, my name is Dan. I have a YouTube channel that focuses on helping people prepare to go into federal prison. So if you're getting ready to go to federal prison, you end up coming across one of my YouTube videos that focuses on what you can do to prepare, what you can do to reduce your sentence. More importantly, we talk about how to deal with anxiety, how to talk about fear, the unknown, what prison's actually going to be like. So just imagine if you found out you're going to be going to federal prison, what a scary thought that might be, and the millions of questions that kind of overwhelm you. That's what we deal with on a day-to-day. And a lot of it is in a coaching mentality where we give people techniques, give them different exercises and what they can do to be able to control this anxiety and to have a better outcome by changing their attitude. So making this video with Zach, I'm not just going to focus on people going into federal prison. We're pretty much talking to anybody and everybody that experiences this type of an issue, and today we're going to focus on relationship struggles. The struggle is very real. Almost everybody's been in some kind of a relationship, and we realize relationships are not always a day at the beach. They can be really rough, and some things are within our control and some things are outside of our control. So what are some things that you should probably worry about in a relationship? We have what we like to call the 4 R's. The 4 R's are pretty much what can devastate a relationship to the point where sometimes it cannot be repaired if you allow these different stages to really take root and consume your relationship. So we're going to go ahead and focus on stage 1. Stage 1 is resistance. Resistance in a relationship is where you find yourself resisting to tell somebody what you're really feeling. So let's say maybe you and your girlfriend are out at a party and she does things that annoy you when you guys go out in public. Maybe she does little things that you find embarrassing. Maybe she's telling bad jokes and it's not the joke, but you just don't like feeling uncomfortable. You don't like when she does this, but yet you don't bring it to her attention, or you don't bring it to his attention. And you allow it to fester and manifest and kind of go out of control because you're like, yeah, it's no big deal. It's not worth fighting about. It's not worth getting into a confrontation, so I'm just going to ignore it. Well, when you ignore these feelings and you let them build and build and build, eventually what happens is it goes from resistance into resentment. And once it goes into stage 2 of resentment, now you start to feel a little bit of anger start coming in behind it. You start to get mad at the other person. You start to blame them for things. You start to take your anger out on them, and they don't know necessarily why, because you're not communicating that it started from something that was really no big deal at all, but it snowballed into a bigger issue, and you've allowed this resentment to kind of overtake your mind and overtake your feelings, and it starts controlling how you act. Well, when you don't deal with resentment properly, when you don't finally sit down and just have a conversation and talk it out and get into a good dialogue of regular communication, that resentment will also get out of control. And once resentment really gets its momentum, it's no longer going to be resentment. Guess what? It's going to actually transfer from resentment into rejection. Once you get into stage 3 of rejection, things get really complicated because now you find yourself picking fights over nothing. You find yourself wanting to be angry at this person all the time. You find yourself not seeing any of the good that this person might offer to the relationship. It's just always fighting, it's always bickering, never properly communicating, shutting each other down, not being able to have any type of productive conversation. And this can get completely tiring and overbearing to the point where you don't even want to deal with it anymore. Once you've peaked with rejection, rejection's going to take its final phase. It's going to go into phase 4, and this is where the relationship is probably going to end. You're going to go into repression. Repression is where all of a sudden you go into shutdown mode. Your mind shuts down. You no longer feel anything. You stop feeling the anger that this relationship is causing you. You're no longer feeling any anger at all, but you're no longer feeling anything positive. You're not feeling happiness. You're not feeling excitement. You just pretty much given up and tuned out everything, and you become completely numb. Once this happens, your relationship status goes to roommates. You're no longer in a relationship, and it's just a matter of time before one of you pushes it hard enough to where you have a giant meltdown and you guys just go amongst your separate ways. And this happens all of the time. A lot of us have probably been in these type of relationships where we didn't even realize it was happening until it was too late. And then once it happens, you tend to blame the other person, they tend to blame you, no one takes responsibility, when both parties probably had a big portion to do with what went wrong in that relationship. Neither person was willing to initiate proper communication earlier on. So what are some things that we can do to work on a relationship to not allow it to get to that point of no return, to where now you hate each other and you become roommates? Maybe some of you won't be able to. Maybe some of you are already doing these exercises to enhance your relationship, and if you are, great. If you're not, maybe this can help you out just a little bit. First off, you need to be willing to work on a relationship. You have to be willing to put in time, willing to put in effort, willing to put in that energy, because if you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. So if you're looking for positive results in anything in life, you have to be willing to put in the time and effort. So one of the first things that you can really focus on that's easier said than done is communication. Active communication on a regular, ongoing basis. Assertive communication. Saying what you mean at the point of it happening. If somebody's doing something that you do not like in a relationship, you need to be able to assertively communicate that. That doesn't mean you have to be mean or be rude, but you need to say how you're feeling so they can understand it. I don't like it when we go out and you make a scene and you embarrass me. I get it, you're not embarrassed. You like that kind of engaging entertainment and you like that type of attention, but I don't. It makes me feel awkward and weird, and I want you to know that, so when you're doing it, maybe you'll take my feelings into consideration. Having conversations like that can go a long way. You can't control how the other person's going to react. By you saying that, they might react poorly, and if they do, that's really showing you where the relationship's at. You guys have to be on some sort of a level to be able to progress through a relationship. If you can't say what you're feeling without them getting upset, then maybe it's not the right relationship. Maybe you guys are 2 different points in life. Maybe you're willing to give it a little bit of time and see if by you communicating on a regular basis, maybe they'll come around. Or maybe by them communicating to you, maybe you'll come around. Remember, this is a two-way street. Just because you're the one watching the video doesn't mean you're the victim. You might be just as guilty as whoever you're thinking about right now. So think about that as well. Other things that you can try to focus on in a relationship is staying out of your feelings. When you're feeling a certain way, when you don't like what somebody else is doing, try not to allow your emotions to dictate what you're going to say to that person. If you feel yourself mad and you're heated, maybe that's not the time to bring it up. Maybe wait a little bit till you cool down, go outside, count to 10, drink some water, go do some push-ups, do something to kind of regulate your attitude so when you do bring it up, you can stay objective. And by staying objective, that means sticking to the facts, not how it makes you feel necessarily in your feelings, but how you want to present it to the person without attacking them. You can't tell somebody something in a form of attacking and expect to get a reaction that's going to be cooperative for either one of you. So for me, these are some things that I do in my relationship to try to improve the longevity and the stability of a relationship. So you might want to, you can even try doing this today. Go for a walk with your loved one and ask them, what is it that they really want out of this relationship? And tell them what it is that you want out of this relationship. Find out from them right now, what parts of the relationship are they struggling with? What is it that they don't like about the current situation of the relationship? And you tell them the same thing. You tell them right now, this is what I'm not a big fan of in this relationship. And by bringing out these things, it puts it out in the open. Now they have something to pay attention to, and you have something to pay attention to. You know some things that they don't like that you do. They know some things that you don't like that they do. And maybe you can find some common ground to kind of meet in the middle. You want to find out from your loved one, is it more important to be right or is it more important to be in love? So if they're saying something to you that you don't necessarily agree with, give it some time. Think about what they're saying. Maybe what they're saying makes sense or vice versa. Remember what it is that you love about that person so you can try to move forward from that. Having code words can be huge, like a secret word that only the two of you understand. If it's ever said, immediately should almost generate a smile, maybe even a little chuckle. If you feel yourself getting into like that heated moment where maybe you're in stage 1 where you feel a little bit of resistance or you feel resentment coming on and you're trying to talk about it, but one of you is maybe too mad to really engage in the proper conversation, both of you should be mindful of your code word. Your code word can be anything you want. It should be something, the more ridiculous, the better, like ham sandwich. You just blurt out ham sandwich in the middle of an argument, and that immediately should trigger both of you to smile and just realize, okay, we need to take a break here. We're too heated in the conversation. Let's go take a walk. You go do your thing for 30 minutes. I'll go do my thing for 30 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it once we've calmed down and we're no longer in our feelings and we're able to be objective and really understand what the facts are that we're focusing on. If you can employ this into your everyday walk of life, and it's going to be hard at first. And remember, change is a process, not an immediate event. Just because you want to fix your relationship today doesn't mean it's going to be perfect tomorrow. You have to be willing to work, put effort in, and as long as you're seeing progress, you should be content with that until you get to where it is you want to be. But if you're not seeing progress and every day is almost like a step backwards, then you just need to reevaluate and maybe this isn't the right relationship for you. Anyway, guys, this is what has worked in my life. I used to be one of those types that you couldn't tell anything to. I had all the answers. I was never wrong. I didn't want to take any advice from anybody. I didn't need anybody's help to solve my problems. What I've learned is there's so much you can learn from people, videos like this, self-help books, going to church, finding yourself a mentor or a big brother, just somebody that you can talk to that is going to be able to use rational thinking and not necessarily tell you what you want to hear, but be able to tell you what you need to hear. Assertive, active, regular communication, guys. It's so underrated and overstated. Everybody talks about communication, but a lot of people do not really understand what that means. So I hope you take a little something from this video. I know if you're a regular fan of Win with Zach, watching Zach's videos, you're probably on the right path and you're using these videos as like mental stimulation to when you're having a bad day, you're jumping on and you're watching one of Zach's videos just to get that energy going in the right direction, guys, because attitude and being positive about life really is half the battle. The other half is what you're willing to do about it to achieve what you want. So if you want it, you can achieve it. You just got to be willing to work for it and realize that immediate gratification isn't a reality. If you want something today, you might have to work for it for several months before you get what it is you're trying to get. And if you're willing to accept that rule and work with it, fuck man, life is your oyster. Is that how that saying goes? I don't know. But anyway, I'm Art Dan, and I hope you guys come check out my channel, see a little bit about the prison information that we talk about. Maybe you know somebody going to federal prison, you can send them my way and we can give them some good content, some good information that they can roll out with. I appreciate it, Zach. I can't wait to do more videos with you. This was a blast. You, my man, are a force to be reckoned with. Can't wait to see what you got coming out next. Thank you, guys. I appreciate everything. I will talk to everybody soon. I'm Art Dan. Have a wonderful afternoon. Make sure you tap that bell on Zach's channel because he needs subscribers. That's what keeps this boat flowing. All right, guys. Have a great day. I'm Art Dan. Peace.
Now that was powerful, bro. Thank you, Art Dan, for dropping in here with the community and dropping some knowledge bombs for us all. We appreciate you. And if you haven't subscribed to Art Dan yet, head on over to his channel right now. Subscribe, hit the bell notifications. That way you don't miss anything. I'll leave a link to Art Dan's channel here in the comments below, in the description below, and in one of these cards. Just get on over there and subscribe to Art Dan right now. Share this video on Facebook, and if you're part of any personal development group, you can share it with your friends right there. And if you want to learn how to reach your potential, crush your goals, and be more effective in all the different roles that you play in life, start right now by hitting that round subscribe icon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.